taking care to decompress, ignoring all y'all texts. Rise up high again. No need to pretend I am his, I am.
Boom! Hello! Oh my gosh! We meet again. Oh my gosh, what has it been? A year? A year of me posting, probably. Hopefully, I will have an intro. Maybe not. Don't really know. We'll see what the Lord does. I'm so sorry. I'm about to duck because I feel like I'm going to be chapped. But howdy. Yeah, a lot has happened. Faith putting chapstick on her lips. Usually I would just let him be ashy. What has changed with Faith? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Year update. Because I have been recording myself, but I haven't posted for a while. For a year. So let me just recap. Last year, September, I was thinking I had a job, or I was getting a job, and then I got the job, and I was figuring that out. Well, I have got a job, thank the Lord. Honestly, how was that going? The first half, I wanted to quit. I did. I wanted to quit. I was having breakdowns. I was crying almost every day. I really felt like I was on my lowest of lows. Like that was like second low, because I was crying in my car after finishing work, driving back home. That's how much I wanted to quit my job. But we're here. We're still here. Thanked by the Lord. The Lord and his prayer warriors that I have around my life, thank him. I thank him because the attacks have been real. But a year. So job, continue to pray for your girl. Oh my gosh, what else has been happening? Newness of the job, not gonna really talk about it like that, but I'll sum it up. It has been a challenge for sure, from college to go to a career that you really don't even know if that is going to, like, long term. I have always said to numerous people, I'm not going to be put in this one box. You know, when people ask me, what do you want to do in life? I always say I want to do many things. So I always say that. So this is just part of my journey, continuing it. What else is happening? I am working on not only a book that has come out, like A Leap of Faith, A Life Filled with Questionable Choices, by Anita Helm. Anita L. Helm, I should say. That has been released. Another one that's being released is Fast and Hard by Matthew Tyner. That is being released. Look out for that in October, and also look out for their channels. One is Four Dose Productions, one is Tyner Effect. Look out for those. They both have websites. It will be linked down below. But that is one part. So work, that's there. Continue to pray. Working on graphic designs, books, that is another part. Boom. Myself, I am currently trying to edit the book that, Lord willing, I will have come out next year. Lord willing, we're working on a plan, hopefully, Lord willing. It's all in his will. The next thing we're also in the process of doing is writing scripts, because, oh my gosh, if I don't go on my notes, a lot of stuff has happened when it comes to shows that I've just been really just downright disappointed. But we go forward. Let's just say that we go forward. That has been something. I'm trying to figure out what else I have been going on, like update wise. My book and my script coming soon. What else? That is like the first. That's probably like, that's touching on last September to January. Well, really May. Went on vacation in May. Thank the Lord. You definitely need to take care of yourself. That vacation honestly was a prep for what is happening now in like the almost coming of the end of the 2024. Let me tell you something. I had a vacation. Thank the Lord for the vacation. Vacation brought so many revelations to me. And people will say, what's the revelation? I can't say it, like, you know, but the Lord, he revealed so many things to me. And I'm so blessed for that. I did get sick on my vacation, but I think the Lord was just saying, you need to slow down, stop what you're doing. There's something, like, I needed to just stop and just sit. So that was that. And I had a white claw, whatever. And that was my first time. And I think I definitely understand why I do not drink. Not because, you know, I never felt peer pressure by my friends, my foes, any of that saying, take a drink, smoke, none of that. Never liked it, honestly, smoking. I don't know how y'all got through that, because when I saw those little commercials of those people who had the thing between their neck, no offense to them, but y'all did y'all job, because y'all scared one child, and that is not happening. Plus, I'm asthmatic, so shoo. And then drinking, I'm really not a fan of. I think the taste is horrible. I'll take strawberry and Capri Suns and Minute Maid all day. So that you don't have to worry about. But I did take one because it was like tasting like ice cream. It was like ice cream, and like you rarely taste the liquor. But I think that's what got me. So one and done. That was it. Came back from my trip. Got back into my work life, even though it was going down a little bit. After that, what else? Oh my gosh, there's like, I gotta go to my calendar, y'all. Like, I'm so serious. I had to document what I was going through, y'all, because it's so serious. I really don't even know how to say it in a kind way or a nice way. So let me go. It's so crazy, y'all. Like, I literally don't mess with anybody. I don't touch with nobody. You know, I leave it alone, leave it to rest. And all of a sudden, like, you see cars wanting to come around, and there's nobody here. Like, I don't know. I think it's just I don't know what it is. It's just something so weird to me. But, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. Let's see. So I talked to you in May. That was May vacation. Oh my gosh. June, I had so many things with, June, I had so many things. Sorry, I saw an announcement. June, I had so many things when it came to church responsibilities, 4 Dose production going on book tour, my job. I wanted to do some things for like planning for the coming days, weeks, or whatever. But then something came about. What could that be, Faith? Oh my gosh, people laugh at me. I had a situation, like we all do in life. And the situation, what came about? A baby. And I'll tell you some backstory, because I think certain people who know me and who know my family know, like, you know, we're very much loving people, givers, for sure. But the key thing about this story that I will about to say is that this is a part of our journey that God has given us. So we are just going through it, and he is guiding us. So the instance was, there was a baby that needed to be taken care of. We, as my family, stepped up in taking care of that. We took care of the baby for 2 weeks. 2 weeks, Faith, that's nothing. In baby years, to me, 2 weeks seem like months. I'm not even joking with you. I think, and this baby, it's not like, oh, it's a year. It's less than a year. Put yourself in our shoes, in my shoes at least. I'm 22 years old. 2. So put two together. 22 years old. I'm having not only dealing with my work, which is honestly just a battle roller coaster, and then I get a baby. I get a baby dropped on me. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. This is the feeling. I came out of my workout, you know, swimming, and all of a sudden I get numerous text messages, which, you know, I'm not gonna even hold you. As soon as I graduated, y'all, I always said, like, I never like to have a lot of text messages. Now my text messages are like at 20 or 7. I try to pick 7 or 20. and it's on a daily basis, and it's not even sometimes spam, it's actually people. And I'm so sorry if I'm not answering you. It's just I have a lot of stuff in my mind, and it's just like consuming that. I had to put pins on people who are like, my mama, my sister, at least my friend group. I had to start making groups. It was getting to that extent, and I'll talk about groups later. But oh my gosh, and having that baby in our life, it's a blessing. But I'm gonna pause right there and say, probably like 8-9 years ago, I told my parents, this is so crazy. Like there's been so many things that I've spoke, power of the tongue. I've always heard numerous people say the power of the tongue, the power of the tongue, the power of the tongue. And I was like, yeah, the power of the tongue. But I've always said, since I was probably 8 or 9, that I wanted to buy my grandmother's house, and thank the Lord has provided. And in that scenario, in that space, in that area, even though people laughed at me, people said that's not going to happen, the Lord has bigger plans than you. So I'm going to leave that there in that point. Another thing I spoke years before this has happened of me having a baby, I spoke it to my parents saying, we're going to have a baby come to our doorstep. I've said that, and I am currently 22, and I was speaking that when I was in 6th, 7th grade. I said that, and it, my mother took it the most as a joke. She was like, yeah, right. My dad was like, they just talking nonsense. Well, my father unfortunately couldn't see it, but my mother could, okay? And she laughs at it now, and people she tells laughs at it now. But when I tell you guys, when that happened, I thought of that, and I automatically called my mother. Because I was like calling her not only to tell her about the situation and tell her like what we needed, what are we going to do? And it got miscommunicated, and we had the baby, we had the baby, thankfully. But it wasn't the unfortunate part, but like the unfortunate thing that never happened, just forget about that. Anyways, it came to be, let's just say that it came to be. The unfortunate part is when you have a baby, it like that in that scenario, it's unfortunate. That's what I was saying. It's unfortunate that it's in the circumstances, and you pray that situation gets better. And right now, I try to be optimistic. I really try to be optimistic as possible, but it's just not giving what it's supposed to give in that scenario. So we're just going to leave it there, but I am going to continue to pray because I know the Lord has a bigger plans, bigger everything in that aspect. But when I tell you guys, when I had this baby for 2 weeks, which was like in my baby years, about 3 months, I was really just shocked of all shocked. It taught me a lot. I did have a child development I took child development classes in high school. And when I tell you, my mom will always tell you too. Probably by like the third day, or maybe the second day, because we had on weekends, I had that baby outside my door. I needed sleep. I know that's really bad, but this time on a real baby, I didn't do that. I was up. I woke up at anytime my mom needed help. We switched shifts and stuff like that. I was there. But when the baby got back to his parents, no, I love the kid. Love you, kid. Love your son. No, but I'm so serious. Like it's taught me so much. Like I do want to have kids in my own life, like in the future. I've always told my mother 5. My mother's always laughed, ha ha ha, if you want 5 kids and stuff like that, and people laugh at me. But like the Lord provide. I might say 5, the Lord might say 2, 1, 3. Whatever the Lord, or maybe none. Just be a parent to people. Whatever the Lord's will is. But I've said 5. But first I have to find a relationship. Well, touch on relationships. Let's go to groups. Okay, yeah. We'll go to groups. Also, before May, I'm backtracking. So May I had vacation. Before that, before the new year 2024 came, I decided to make a group chat with my cousins. key thing on that is because I realized not only with the deaths that are happening in our family, with the sicknesses and illnesses that are happening with our family, which I'll touch on too, but just in life in general and us being the next generation, I want to get closer to my cousins. I want to let them know that I love them, for one. I am here for them, and I want to support them in whatever they are trying to do in their dreams, in their passions, whatever that might be. But I don't know my cousins. So that's why I was like, at the end of the year, I got so frustrated because I had an incident in college where I was near the vicinity of my cousin, but I wasn't speaking to him. And it's not like I didn't reach, okay? But I didn't like that. And I wanted to change that. And it made its way into making group chats with my cousins. One cousin side, another cousin side. And I did that because I want to know them. Like I said, I'm not going to reiterate. But that has been something that's big because I'm entering into a new chapter as I said again, I'm 22 years old. And when they have families, wives, kids, husbands, whatever, so forth, I want to make sure that, you know, they at least know. Because I realized with the last couple of years going to family reunions, you see these kids and these kids walk up to you and be like, who is this woman? And it's like, and especially if you're bringing kids or even wives, newly wives, newly husbands or whatever to the family reunion, it's like, I want to have that introduction, not even introduction, like a formal introduction. I just want to have that relationship beforehand or even there, but it's like, it doesn't have to be awkward. So that is something I created, and it's establishing more and more. So I'm really hoping that it comes about. You know, it's getting there, but I've had it. I'm so thankful the Lord gave me the idea and the courage, because I was so scared. I was like, oh, they're going to say no. They're going to say no. But they actually said yes. And I was like, great. Because like, I want to not only be there, but I want them to know, like, we might be in different states. We might be in different, you know, journeys in our life, but like, I love you guys, you know? I'm an introvert, but I have love for all you individuals. So that's something. I said groups. What else did I talk about? Relationships. I'm remembering my topics. I know that's crazy because usually I don't. Relationships. Let's see. That's always occasionally asked to me, and I always say the same thing. Like right now, I'm not in a relationship. And I think that is actually best. I'm being transparent. All I care. I really have to get within myself. Like I had in 2021 to 2023 of me graduating, I treated myself badly. And I admit that now. I neglected myself, and that was showed in my health, in which I'm still pending and getting that together. But I really treated myself badly, and I recognize that. And before I can get into a relationship with a man, I need to treat myself better and just get myself together. I'm not saying I'm going to get myself 100% together, but like I want, like there's certain things, you know, and again, the Lord could bring that man when I'm not all fully together. And the Lord will work on me as well as he will work on him. So it's whatever in that way. But all I'm saying is, right now, I'm not looking, you know, where the man at? You know, I'm not like in a, oh my gosh, I need to go. And plus, I'm not going to hold you. Maybe it's me. Give me some hints if you're in my age group too. Or maybe if you're older, younger, whatever. I don't go to clubs, for one. I'm trying to figure out my scenery that I meet them in. And like, I'm trying to break out, because I do hang around, like my mother always says, you hang around with older folks. And my sister even said that, and I was like, I do, but like, it's, the Lord will provide that man when the time comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not rushing. I kid you not. I'm very like shy with the past relations I had been in, because those were examples of like, you're okay. You're 22 years old, travel, learn about yourself, like get to know yourself. Don't listen to outsiders who honestly, cause they don't know like everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Lord knows everything about me, my mind, how I go about things. So like when it comes to relationships, I am taking a relationship with myself. When that man comes, the Lord will provide, the Lord will work it out. You know, I am fully reliant on the Lord providing me that man, that a godly man to come in my life, and not only to, you know, us lift each other up, but grow together in Christ. So that right now is in a pause. What else? That has been, so I touched September to June, the baby part. Right now, what else has happened? Child, I didn't even write my friend until today, about what was happening, and I have to send that out in the mail. I haven't done that. Listen, I'm looking at my calendar, like seriously looking at my calendar, because you see the dots I have, it's a little bit too much. Oh my gosh, I'm backtracking too. You probably can't see it. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's getting darker. I'm sorry. I did start my lock journey. What? You did? Yeah, I started in October 2023. That went high to low real quick. Let me restart. But I started my lock journey. It wasn't like a hard decision. Sometimes I'll talk about validation feedback in a second, but for me, I wanted to start the lock journey because I was tired of doing my hair every 2 weeks, and not even like I was being consistent in that. I was just tired of doing the twists, the braids, the plaits, the so-called plaits I was doing, because let me tell you guys, when my show comes out about my book, the hairdos are not going to be the hairdos y'all are used to in Grownish. They're going to be real. I wasn't doing my hair at all correctly at college level. Like, seriously. I was doing it myself. They were bad in the back. They weren't, you know, they didn't have the little, you know, like the, what's it called, scalp look. It was messy. So that's just going to be, for real, something you're going to see in my show. But the key thing that I definitely did realize about when I wanted to start my locks is like, it's something that I'm going to have to deal with. It's not someone else who's going to have to wear that hair. It's me. So I sometimes talk to my mother, of course, see her feedback. And at first she was like, do you really want to do that? You're not going to have any other hairstyles. It's like, no, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And I'm so thankful I did do that. And I've been on it since October 2023. And I met wonderful people through it too. I met a woman named Tiana, and she's really been a blessing in my life. I don't talk a lot. I kid you not. I'm very much an introvert. I totally understand that. But I really do appreciate her presence, her energy, I think she's a blessing. That's all I can say. Like, that's really like cover it, the 3-6. She's really a blessing from God. And I really am thankful. So I started my lock journey. So that's been really helpful, really a blessing. What else has happened? I keep backtracking like so many things. Let me start with July and August of 2024. What has happened thus far? I keep backtracking, but unfortunately we've had some deaths, and I realized even today, I just came back from a hospital visit after I finished work, and I kind of said, I'm gonna record when I get closer somewhere so I can, you know, record my life and etc. and see about this stuff, you know, just do it, because I always excuse myself and say I'm not gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it today. And so yeah, I've seen I don't know, like today, well, let me backtrack. I went to a funeral recently, and that's something else. I went to a mass, which I never went to a mass before, and let me tell you guys, that's also going to be in my show, because this is something that I definitely didn't know. I didn't know in mass they have the little, you know, things for your knees when you bend your knees and pray. I was like, that is so cool, because I didn't know that. Let me turn my light on. Sorry. That was so cool, because I never saw it before. But they definitely do different things for funerals and masses, but I was laughing because I felt like I was so like the odd one out. Well, another sister of mine was like the odd one out because I never been to a mass before. So I felt like I was so behind on what they were doing. I was like, oh, what are we supposed to do? Like, I kept looking back at my mother, seeing like, what is she doing? What am I supposed to do? Etc., etc. And there were certain things that were being said. I was like, that is something I never heard before. But anyways, that's gonna be on my show too, and my book probably. Stay tuned on that. But yeah, these last 2 months have really just been health, to be honest with you. Seeing a loved one you die, it kind of brings me back always to my father, of course, but always brings me back to my Aunt Joyce. And even today, one of my cousins, aunts who I love and respect and who I really appreciate in my life, she was asking me, she's like, do you get flashbacks from this? And it wasn't like I get a flashback per se. It just felt like I'm not used to this. Like, I always see family members of mine in the hospital. I always see family members who are sick and ill. I always see family members who I love and respect, of course. I always see who steps up in those scenarios. And I always try to plan out, like, I'm Randall and Beth together in the worst case scenarios, but also the best case scenarios, because I don't like to always think worst case, for everything. But, seeing a loved one you in a hospital, it just hits different because, you can see in their faces sometimes what they are feeling. They can say they're okay, but really they're just scared. They're nervous. They're overwhelmed with so much because they're in the hospital. I realize too is like people don't sometimes like to be taken care of in that state, and they like to ease people's mind by saying it's okay, but really it's not okay. AKA, I learned that from my aunt Tina, because I was saying all the time to people after when my father was transitioning, I'm okay, so they can get out my face. Even this recent funeral I went to, like, everyone's different, and it was so crazy. This gentleman, he asked me, he said, what did you do when your father died? And I never got that answer before in my life. Well, he's only been dead, yeah, but I never got that in my life. And when I honestly said, I was like, I went outside, I looked up in the sky, I cried, I went back in, saw his dead body, waited for, excuse me, saw my mother cry, and called my Aunt Pam, and I went back outside, and I continued to cry, and I was breathing like crazy, and then I told him honestly, I was like, I did not want to be bothered with anybody. I wanted, how people have twin stuff? I really wanted a doppelganger or somebody to be at the funeral instead of me. Because I was just like, if anything, I didn't want to go to the funeral. It was like, I didn't want to be a part of anything. I wanted to be closed. I wanted to close my room, not answer my phone, be done with everything, just like complete utter silence, just like in a depressive mode. Like like when he said that, I thought exactly of where I was and everything. Like, my sister was planning the obituary, my mom was getting stuff for, together of the obituary, the funeral and stuff. I was collecting clothes, getting that organized for church members and people for donations. But I think that is really what I do, is active service. And that actually helps me process what was going through that time of my father dying, and just like what's to come, because it's a lot, and people say, oh, I'm fine and stuff. Like, to each his own. I can't fight the people who are going to be like, I'm okay. It's like, the Lord will reveal it, and the Lord will have that person that he has for that person to speak to them, and it'll hit them different. So I can't, be like, oh, I'm going to make it come out of them saying they're not okay. Like, it's the Lord's will. The Lord will use that a person or that person, whoever he has, for that person. So I'm not going to even touch on that. But yeah, today, you know, finished work, got to see a family member, continue. I got to put in my group message and my cousins to continue to pray for them, because it's hard, you know, losing a parent in general, losing a family member you love, losing anybody that you have a significant attached companionship, anything of a relationship with, is hard to see. You know, people always say about breakups, you break up with that person, they go their separate ways, but this is different. A person dying, like, they are dying. There's no text message and be like, oh, they're going to text me back. It's none of that. It's no such thing. So it hits different. You know, it definitely hits different. So I just always, you know, for me now, I take perspective, and I kind of like, and this will go back to the validation feedback, and that's my last topic, but I really don't like to, I don't use a lot of my time to fuss and fickle after my father died, but after dad died, I think Aunt Joyce was a step forward. But when dad died, I was like, you know, you explain your case, that's fine, but I really don't want us to use our energy to fight, you know? And I think I'm getting that from my mom, because I saw from example, when my mom would have arguments or when my mom would get upset, she'd stay quiet. She still is that type of person today, but she passed that on to her children. I'll just say that, because I tend to do that a lot. Like, when I get upset or frustrated, it goes silent, because I think that is just best in my case scenario of me just going silent, me just talking within myself, but not only to myself, but to God, of like, what just occurred, how was I wrong? Can you explain it to me? Stuff like that I ask questions on, so I can reconvene with that person and apologize, or try to come back to the center and be better for not only just me, but for us. So I think I learned that from my mother. Even though I do have times where I do get upset and just ramble, but that's mostly not to family members. It's mostly to this one particular person who I love, but that comes occasionally. But yeah, and even too, last thing, validation and feedback. I learned this not only before I went to this conference, but I don't know, I forgot how I learned this, but I realized validation is something I am not keen or happy or like attached on. I don't need validation from family, friends of saying you're doing a good job. I told my mom this, and I was like, forget it, I'm gonna do a video, I'm gonna be transparent. I used to hear from my family members always saying, you're losing weight, you're, you know, and I always thought, oh my gosh, I'm losing weight, like that's good, like I needed that. But like when people say that and then they stop and then they say it again after 2 months and then they stop and they say it again, it's like you are seeking that validation. But I was like, I don't need that validation from family. Like, as long as I know what I'm doing and I'm loving myself and treating myself well, I'm okay. Like, I don't need validation from family, friends of saying, hey, you're doing a good job here. Like, oh, you need confirmation from that. I was like, no. And even I tell my mom all the time when she asks me questions, I said, are you seeking validation? Or are you seeking feedback? And like feedback, I'll say like, oh, maybe you could do this better. Maybe this can happen. Maybe this could be this or whatever. Or if you did an edit and you're saying, how does this look? And I say, you know, it doesn't look, maybe you could do this, maybe that. It's like, you didn't like it. It's like, you were seeking validation and you weren't seeking feedback because you're defensive and you didn't really want, you know, not saying my mother's like that all the time, but I'm just saying, like, I've seen that. So sometimes when I ask family, friends, are you seeking validation? Are you seeking feedback? They give me a look, but it's like, it's really necessary for me to know, because I'm going to tell you my honest opinion. And even now, too, like, after I went on one of these book tours for Four Dose Productions for their Leap of Faith, one lady, she was like, you know what? You remind me so much of your father. Like, she's like, I can't explain. Like, I have had so many people speak on my life. That's why I'm so thankful for prayer words. I know I switched subjects, but this is my last thing. Like, I am really appreciative of the prayer warriors who are in my life, who have prayed on me, who have prayed for me, for my family. I know I'll say this, but I really do appreciate Miss Winters. I know she prays for me, and I put prayer requests for my family, friends, even people I don't even know, people who, my mother meets or, says, hey, I met this woman, and I give the best description I can when I pray, because the Lord knows, So I really want to say, I really do appreciate my prayer warriors. I really do appreciate, the journey I've been on when it comes to this whole year since last September. Everything that I went through of me being 22 has been so much, but I don't think I would have changed anything differently, because I know that God has bigger, better plans for me. I know He has something that I can not imagine, because look how far I've come. I'm breathing. I've been blessed. I have food on the table. I have shelter. I have family. I have foes. I have friends that love me, that, that help me grow, and I help them too. So I appreciate all that, I forgot something I was going to say, but I really do appreciate it. If it was important, the Lord will bring it back. If it's not, it's going to be somewhere else. But I do appreciate that. I'm working on myself, trying to improve, daily on how I can be better. But yeah, it's really a even yesterday, during worship, I did a testimony, because I was like, the pastor was like, no one has anybody's testimony. I was like, Faith, you have a testimony, because not only are you alive today, but you have been blessed for 22 years to breathe. You were 4% chance of living, and look at you now. You're 22 years old. You not only have had a wonderful parents who have taught you the foundation and have grown you into this woman, but have taught you about the Lord. I have a wonderful sister who is loved by her husband, who also is loved by her mother-in-law, who she has been loving to us, and I'm so blessed for her, and I pray for her and her family, and I pray for her by name. And I am blessed that, even for their family, with his brother, my brother-in-law's brother, and him being an uncle, and the wife, I pray for them. And then I'm thankful for my church members. Even though we have our ups and downs, I'm thankful for them, because the Lord used them to prepare me for something that I have no clue of, but I appreciate. Oh, this is what I was going to speak of. When I said prayer warriors, people this year have spoken so much about something that I have yet to honestly put together. I can't explain it, but the Lord knows if you're watching this and you understand, but it's they're not only speaking life into me, but they're speaking. They're saying things that are just aligning so much of what is happening that it makes me almost want to cry. But it's the Lord He's always blew my mind. But this year of my 22, about to be 23 in September, it has blown my mind to a whole different level, because I never could expect that, I would be getting my grandmother's house. I always joke, I always said I wanted it, and I had it on my posters as my vision, my goal, and, stuff like that. And now it's coming true. It's kind of like a surreal, they always say, moment, but it's really not even that. It's just blessings from the Lord, and His grace and His mercy that He has touched on my life. And not only that, but again, like I said, prayer warriors, and my father's prayers when he was up in his prayer closet, the consistency. I said before I was inconsistent with certain things. Well, the one thing I definitely wasn't inconsistent in was saying to my family members how I wanted my grandmother's house. And that has been something. And even now, I saw something on Twitter and they were saying, instead of continuously saying you're worried about this, continue to pray about that worry, because you're saying you're worried, and you can pray about that. So like creating that consistency, creating that consistent prayer life is something I am definitely on a journey. And even for my 23rd birthday, I plan on creating a video, Lord willing, depending on my work schedule, but I plan to create a video that kind of explains what I kind of want to show as a factor, or what I'm putting out, or because, you know, the power of the tongue is real after I just kind of spill that out. But I kind of want to speak or interpret what I would like to see, or what the Lord and I have, he has heard from me through these last couple months, of what I seek, or what I want, or what I'm working towards. And even today I kind of talked about it, but that is something that, you know, I am so blessed to have, is a foundation of knowing the Lord, a growing relationship of knowing the Lord. And I'm continuing to pray not only for my family, my friends, but my foes, the people that I come in contact with, that I haven't even come in contact with. I pray for my friends who, you know, might be going through a difficult situation, family and friends that are going through a situation. Like I talked about how, you know, I wrote to a friend who is in a difficult situation. And, you know, I rarely write, but I wrote to this one person who is in high school, and I totally said, I felt bad because I was supposed to write her in June, but I was like, you know, you're writing her now, so just take it in now and just write to her. So I wrote to her, and I'm continuing to pray for her family, and for her specifically, because it's rough out here. And, you know, I saw that Beyonce was saying in the introduction or something, we always use examples of Beyonce, it seems like, but no, I saw an example of how they were saying, Beyonce was saying, this complicated world. You know, we all are going through something in this journey that we call life. So I always am a person who says prayer, you know, is bigger than anything we could ever say, you know, materialistically, anything like that. Because it's so funny to me whenever I see people, like even for the Olympics that just finished, and the Paralympics are about to start, there's a lot of people who are saying like, oh, success is getting that medal. Success is knowing Christ. Like, I think everybody wants to go around that, but it's like success is you're rich in Christ and your mind is on Christ, and you are living for him and proclaiming his word and proclaiming his word. Sorry, I can't speak. Proclaiming his word. So I think in doing that, I am growing, and I pray that in the next time, hopefully it won't be in next year, September of 2025, Lord willing, but I hope that every year that I continue to speak and to continue to journal within me writing notes, but journal through here, that it will show the growth that what I was when I was a freshman, or actually a high schooler, senior high schooler who was 17 to now a 22-year-old, will show the evolutions of how my mind has changed, my body has changed, my soul has changed, my relationship and my growth of knowing Christ has changed, and just in general life. You know, if I can't talk, I can hear my 17-year-old self, but I always hear the people say, oh, if you told your 17-year-old self, all the things I want to tell it, the Lord, you know, he's gonna use that 17-year-old. He built that 17-year-old to build this 22-year-old who I am today. So I'm just blessed. But I'm gonna go. It's currently 8:49. Yes, that's it's currently 8:49, and I have work tomorrow. So I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna post this hopefully soon. And if you do see my intro, I worked on it. And if it's not really good to my liking, I might change it the next video. But so far, love you. Take care of yourself. You're loved. Sorry about the lighting. It's getting dark. Again, it's almost 9 o'clock. But I'm going to go. And 3,